What's going on, everybody? This is Odell Bazell, and I just wanted to share this really quick. I have tons of people checking out SpeakerLeads, trying to figure out like what is it that you're trying to do? Like, what's the catch? Like, you're giving us all of these contacts. There must be a catch. Maybe they're old contacts, or maybe they're contacts that have already spam blockers or something like that. And I just wanted to give a few case studies to let you know that there really isn't a catch. Like there really isn't a catch, especially as of this recording. There's a lot going on globally, right? So is it the right time to email people? All these questions are flooding my inbox right now, and so I just wanted to bring up a couple of people that I've coached. Right now, I have the one, the only Mrs. Shantia Coley. Wave hi, Shantia. And if you're listening to this, then obviously she is not waving at you because you can't see her. But I just wanted to share Shantia's story a little bit. I'll let her tell you about herself. But she is one of the all-stars in the Impact Speaker Academy. And so Tia, tell us a little bit about you and why you joined the family.
Yeah, so thanks, Odell. Thanks for having me. So I am an attorney. Telling people my story, how I got here. So I'm an attorney. I'm very fortunate to be an attorney, but I did the work because I'm a first generation college graduate. I was born and raised in a single military home. My mom is in the Army. And I just really felt as if I had a lack of, well, I know I had a lack of resources. Um, there weren't women or men that looked like me, speaking life into people like me. And so I'm really lucky to make it out, so to speak. So now that I've quote unquote made it out, I decided that in addition to my full time job litigating, that I wanted to give back. I wanted to be a voice. So I started doing that a little over a year ago on my own. And I think Odell thinks he found me, but he didn't. One of my close friends told me about him before our paths crossed. I don't know how our paths crossed, Odell, but he was definitely on my radar, y'all. My girlfriend went to college with Odell and she was so impressed by him and she sent me all this information and said, you need to check this guy out. And of course I was like, whatever. But eventually our paths did cross and I'm so thankful that they have. And it's been amazing since then. I don't know if you want to ask specific questions about the journey and what you've provided, but Odell has been invaluable.
Well, I appreciate that. And I want to, I don't remember all of the details, but I do remember somehow you got on my email list and I was doing a webinar, it was like a couple years ago. And I was like, hey, and one of the bonuses on that webinar was, hey, I'm giving you my list. And I remember you emailing me saying, what am I supposed to do with these? It was like, what am I supposed to do with all these
Oh, I do
people?
remember.
And that was before we you joined the coaching program and everything. I was like, well, you got to email them, and then it was kind of back and forth. Then we met. Being the attorney, doing your due diligence, she was like, hey, we got to meet. We're fortunate we live close enough, so that wasn't a big deal. We met, and then you joined up, and so the thing with the leads, and I just want to focus on that because email marketing is it's an introduction, right? It's not what you want at the end of it. Ideally, what we all want is we want to meet, we want to shake the hands, well, not now, but we want to shake the hands, kiss the babies, right? We want to meet you. We want to, feel your energy. Oh, Shantia, I love your message. I would love to bring you in to speak. That's what we want ideally, because that allows us to better build those relationships. But for most of us, especially those that are willing to travel, the email is the introduction. And so I just want you to talk about, you spoke at tell me where you spoke this past January in Michigan, and talk about that process. Like, what did you do to get that particular speech?
Okay. So this past January, I was fortunate enough to be the MLK Junior keynote speaker for Northern Michigan University's MLK Celebration Week. They have a whole week. And that for me, I've had a ton of speeches, but number one, it was at a very reputable campus. And that's something that I have not necessarily had. I've spoken at one campus before, but that's my alma mater, and so they kind of looked out. But so this was the campus I had no affiliation with, number one. And number two, it is to this day, my highest paid speaking engagement. Now, how that ties into Odell, I was hired by this campus through my email marketing. And my leads came from a list that Odell provided that I would not have had before, let's be honest, that I would not have taken the time to put together myself. So it was honestly, and I maybe emailed once saying, "Hi, this is Shantia, and Odell has all of these tools that will teach you how to do this." So I sent one campaign and didn't really hear too much, but it's so easy the way Odell teaches you that in just a click of a button, another campaign went out, or actually it may have been automated. And on that second campaign, I got responses back, and that's how I got hired.
And see, here's the thing, and I tell people this all the time, and I know it's hard because we have trust issues. Adults have trust issues anyway. If you grew up like I did in my household, it's like we don't trust nobody anyway. Hardly trust our family. So it's like that. I'm sorry, that's just my truth. But so it's like when somebody is saying, "Well, I'm gonna give you these leads," it's like, okay, what's wrong with them? Like,
Right.
what's the thing? And so when you told me when you messaged me and said, "Oh, I got this school," I knew the school because I've spoken in Michigan before multiple times, and that school never hired me. And so I'm like, they've never not just not hired me, but they've never even responded to my emails. And so here's the thing, and also, and I want to add this too before we jump inside of what Speaker Leads looks like. I too market for MLK. I too market for diversity. I market for the same stuff. And so I think a lot of times because of the way we're raised or because of the way we come up in business, it's like there's a limited amount of opportunities. That's what we think. And I know that's what I
Mhm.
thought when I first got into the speaking game. I'm like, well, let's see, it's that person, that person, that person. It's about 15 of them right there that I see. So they're ahead of me and they're moving forward and all this stuff. Like, why would people hire me? It's like people need a different voice, people need a different face, people need a different story. Shantia and I have totally different stories. Now I know a lot of people think, and whoever's watching this or listening to this, Shantia is black, I'm black. And it's like, well, black people have the same story. It's like, no, very different stories, like very different stories, very different backgrounds, very different upbringings, very different stuff. And so we, first of all, we have to remove that limiting mindset. Well, is there only amount? Well, if Odell is reaching out to all these people, there's no way that they'll hire me. That's not true because truth be told, I'm just like you listening to this or watching this. I'm just like you, meaning I'm not famous and meaning that most people haven't heard of me. So that's the same thing that we have. Like we have that in common. And so I just tell that to other speakers for them to be encouraged and also to know like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get one over on you. I know a lot of people do that or have done that. But let's jump inside of Speaker Leads. So this is what it looks like. And I just want to show this with Shantia on here. Um, because so when you join, you'll get a login, you get all this stuff. You'll see my face there. That video will be changed like in 2 days. But anyway, it'll be me right there. So you go straight into, depending on how you come into it, you go straight into 250 leadership conference contacts. And so right here, that's where you get the campaigns, the promotional campaigns, the content campaigns. You just download it there. Then that's the link that you go to, and it goes to a Google Doc, and you download it as a CSV file, and you can plug it into Yesware. When Shanti was talking about campaigns, that's like Yesware or whatever email marketing software you use.
Mhm.
And we'll teach inside of Speaker Leads, don't use your CRM, don't use a permission based service because you don't have permission to email these people, right?
Right.
Like these are cold emails. And so you want to make sure you're looking at that. Also, inside the Speaker Leads, you get all these interviews with people that I've interviewed, people with other speakers. that are doing their thing. You get client interviews with my clients, like people that I've spoken to before. Shanae Moore is a good friend of mine, Benny Williams, Billy Bolden, my guy out there. All these people, I know them and they've hired me or they work with me. And they're Casey, my agent. He used to work in higher education, and now he runs his own agency. So you get to see all of that. You get these master classes, you get all those cool things. And so I just wanted to show everybody that, just because, again, even though it's only $27 to get in, and I know Shantia is going to look at me funny because she paid a lot more than that to get to get into what she's getting into. But the coaching has a whole lot more, right? So that is just one part of the coaching, the leads. But I want to ask you this as you're moving forward, Shantia, what's the biggest thing that you learned by emailing these individuals?
Ooh, the biggest thing that I've learned, patience. You're not necessarily going to get an immediate response. Patience, persistence. Keep going until you get that no. And that actually was not something I learned through email. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. That's not something I learned from the email campaign. That's something I learned from you. Is just to keep going until you get the no. You're not necessarily the priority. So if you don't get a response, it doesn't mean that they're not interested. So patience and persistence.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, everybody, I appreciate y'all hopping on this. If you have not invested in SpeakerLeads yet, I mean, do it. Just do it. I mean, because it
Do it.
saves you time. Like, it saves you time if you're a busy wife and mom and professional like Shantia, or if you're a dad and you're busy. Like, especially times like these where we're all loving each other a little more because we're around each other a little more. You still think, oh, I have time because I'm not going to the office. The kids, the kids are there. Your honey is there. Like, hey, we're gonna watch this movie. Like, I want to look for these leads. Like, no, you wouldn't want to do that. Like, you'd rather, enjoy that time, enjoy that family time. So make sure that you do that. Check out SpeakerLeads. The link is somewhere around this video. Shantia, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you on the next one.